Hi everyone, Dr. Ed here from EPS. Today I wanted to review the last three principles that Dr. Coyne and her colleagues introduced in relation to how we can approach self-care. So just to provide a recap, in the last video I talked about small things matter, everything interacts, and patterns matter. And so the fourth principle is meaning matters. So if you think about the small behavioral changes that we can engage in on a day-to-day basis, such as, for example, ensuring that I take a moment to connect with my child, and I allow that moment to then become a pattern of such moments as I repeat that choice to ensure I make connection with my children. In essence, what I'm doing is creating meaning around those actions. And what I'm telling my child is that they are valuable, that they're important, and that they matter. So it's a really nice concept to think about how, when we make those small changes and we allow them to become patterns, we are creating meaning for those who we interact with. The fifth principle that they discuss is we are stronger together, which I think is a really important principle during this pandemic, especially as it prolongs. Because I think as it gets longer, people are again starting to feel isolated and disconnected from each other. So it's a good reminder about how important it is to seek help, ask for help, to connect with those around you, and to also be a source of support for those around us. And I think this is a really important principle in terms of how we can model for our children these ideas and concepts. And then the last principle is self-care is love. And I really like this last one because when people hear self-care, oftentimes they're thinking, oh, who has time for self-care? And we approach it from the perspective of, okay, I got to add self-care to this list of things that I have to do today. And this principle of self-care as love prompts us or reminds us to think of how our children view us. So think of a loved one and ask yourself, how do they view you? And how would they sort of value your health? And so if you think about it from that perspective, then we can start to approach the idea of self-care and recognize that as we engage in more self-care, we're taking care of ourselves, of course, but it's also helping those around us who depend on us and for whom we create meaning through the small choices and actions that we take. And so, thank you again for listening. If you have any questions, concerns, feel free to reach out to us. I would love to have an opportunity to talk to any schools or parent groups. So email us at info@atopicalpsych.com. Thank you very much. Take care.